Hello everybody, and thank you for choosing to spend the next few minutes with me. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've been looking after yourself, and if you haven't drank any water today, go hydrate yourself now. I'll wait. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about something that has sparked a massive fire within me to speak out about lots of different topics and issues and things that I think are very, very, very important and that we should all be opening up conversations about. As you can tell, I'm very, very passionate about this, so I want to just scream at the camera about it all. I recently watched a brand new TV series called It's a Sin. If you haven't seen it already, where have you been? What have you been doing? Go check it out and then come back and watch this video later. It is a 5-episode drama set in 1980s London and follows 5 different individuals during the AIDS crisis during the 1980s. The series was just so fantastic for so many different reasons that I just had to come and say something about it and encourage all of you to go and check it out if you haven't already. It's just so beautifully written. The representation is fantastic. Personally, I think to see queer actors playing queer characters is so refreshing. The education that this series gave me is miles better than any LGBT plus education I was given as a youngster growing up in school. Something that struck me massively was that the 1980s wasn't that long ago at all, and the AIDS crisis was not that long ago, yet it seems to be something that our history teachers didn't talk to us about, that in those weird citizenship PSHCE lessons that we had, no one would talk about this sort of thing. I was never taught about it. We kind of, as queer people, have to teach ourselves, which is just utterly ridiculous. I was just absolutely amazed to learn about the devastating impact of the AIDS crisis and how the gay community was just left to suffer and deal with it as the government turned a blind eye and refused to get involved. Ring any bells? So basically, yeah, I just think it's amazing and everyone should go check it out. I just think it's like just insane how the government turned a blind eye through blatant homophobia, turned a blind eye to gay and bisexual people and people within the LGBT community who were dying from this disease, and they turned a blind eye purely through blatant homophobia. And it's just scary to see how, even in today's society, that kind of homophobia from the government and from other areas of society is preventing LGBTQ plus people from getting the support that they need, whether it's mental health support, whether it's support with transitioning gender. It still blows my mind how back in the 1980s, when lots and lots of gay people were dying from this disease, the government turned a blind eye and like so many lives were lost, and yet still the government refuses to support LGBTQ plus people now who are suffering from mental health problems leading to suicide, and it's just atrocious. I just thought it was really interesting to look at some similarities between the AIDS crisis in the 80s and how things are now, today, in 2021. It's ridiculous. So obviously the government back in the 80s during the AIDS crisis turned a blind eye to AIDS and to HIV, and that was partly because of the stigma that was surrounding HIV. So I think it's important, even nowadays, to destigmatise HIV completely. So I just thought it would be a good idea to give some little quick facts about HIV and AIDS, in case you didn't already know. So, let's go. Number 1, HIV can affect anyone. You don't have to be gay, you don't have to be bisexual, it can affect straight people too. Number 2, HIV cannot be passed on through everyday normal contact, such as hugging, touching, kissing. It has to be passed on through unprotected sex or by sharing needles, basically the mixture of bodily fluids. Number 3, nowadays, people who are HIV positive and on the correct treatment cannot pass HIV on, even through unprotected sex with their partner. And number 4, even though there's no cure for HIV, the majority of people who are HIV positive and on the correct treatment live normal, healthy lives. I got all this information from the National AIDS Trust at nat.org.uk, so you can go and do your own research if you want to know a little bit more about it. If you like this video and want to see me talking a lot more about queer TV, queer films, queer literature, queer rights, anything else to do with the LGBTQ+ society, give it a like, comment below, let me know what you want to see. I love talking about these sorts of things because I'm very, very passionate about them, and I hope you enjoyed too. Thank you for joining.